Evening traders, it's Dale here from the forexguy.com, and I'm coming at you with the pound yen daily chart right now. I've got an interesting setup lined up here, waiting for a breakout. What I'm basically doing is the classic straddle breakout strategy, and that basically means that I am going to take either the breakout of the high here or the breakout of the low, whichever occurs first. And the reason I'm doing that is we've got this inside day here that's occurred on the daily chart, and it's formed in this sort of like kind of like neutral sort of area where a break upwards makes sense because the trend has been overall bullish here, and it's on the other hand, it hasn't really corrected. We've been in this uptrend for so long. You've got to ask yourself the question, how long can this uptrend sustain itself without any sort of like correction? So what's happened now is we've seen that you can see this trend has respected its mean value here, and it's held as dynamic support all the way up. But interestingly enough, it's we're trading on the negative side of the mean value now. The price is actually closed on the negative side of the 20 EMA there, suggesting potential downward turn, and the EMA is starting to tip over and angle itself downwards. So I mean, we've got this strong swing level through there as well. I believe that's a weekly level also. I can just check that quickly. We may have to zoom out a little bit. It is. Okay, so it is a strong weekly level, and so that's the significance of the level of the chart there. And I only just have the one level marked. This is only the level that we're worried about at the moment. So it's acting as a swing level on the daily chart, and on the weekly chart it's also a major level. So it's a pretty significant level. So basically the level could hold as support, defend this uptrend, and maintain its inflation. And we could see the upside breakout through here and see the uptrend continue after this small correction that's occurred. Or option B, we get a breakout of the lows, okay, and then big game changer, because all of a sudden we're trading on the negative side of the mean value, and we've got all this open space, I guess, down here, if you would like to view it like that, for the market to fall into, because we haven't seen any sort of like correction for a long time. So this could easily turn into a medium term, maybe even sort of like longer term bearish trend that we can capitalize on. So there, I mean, either one could happen. I mean, either way is possible, right? So what I've done is I don't do this very often, because these sort of like 50-50 kind of breakout sort of setups don't occur. Usually I'm either biased to a bullish breakout or biased to a negative breakout. So in this case I'm quite neutral. It's in neutral territory. It can happen either way, right? So what I've done is, well, I'm actually using a tool that I developed, and it just makes this sort of stuff like really easy. Just real like fast one-click sort of button setups, and this is available to all Warrior members. A couple of them use it. Some people just like to place their orders manually, but you just basically set it up. I've got a couple of like templates in there. It's set on breakout strategy. I'm not going to click through this because I don't want to sort of like cancel it or interrupt it, but you can see here I've just selected the breakout strategy there, which either, if I click the breakout strategy and then I click long, it'll set up a long pending order for me to catch like a buy stop, to catch any bullish breakouts. And I've also selected at the same time, which this tool can do, is to look for short breakouts, and that's here. It sets up a sell stop, and it does have the capability to do this at the same time. So because I've pressed them at the same time, it's either one will get triggered. I have to be careful, because I think if I leave it as is, and I get a failed break, well, I get one trigger and then it fails and then it comes back down, both will still trigger. So I have to turn one off, excuse me, you've won triggers sort of thing. And yeah, it just makes it really easy. I'm only putting $500 on this trade because I don't know. I just feel like it's a yeah. I mean, it's I wouldn't say it's high probability, but because we've got all this news going on with the big issues with Greece at the moment and the political situation in Europe, I'm just sort of like taking it pretty easy because well, at any time now, volatility may spike out of control, Greece may exit or something like that. So I'm just being a little bit extra cautious here. So it will only be a small trade, but still plenty of plenty of room for expansion here if this breaks out either way. So hopefully I'll be able to show you. Hopefully this does trigger and I'll be able to show you a nice breakout. And I'll pause the video there and I'll come back and I'll show you how it all went. Hi traders, I'm back with a quick update with this trade idea that I had. I've basically cancelled my straddle sort of setup, and I'm sticking with the bearish breakout. I'm kind of a bit more biased towards a bearish breakout here, just for the reason that the market's broken down under the mean value here. We're trading on the bearish side of the mean, which is on the negative side of the 20 EMA, and instead of getting a breakout that session in the previous video I showed you, we got actually like a double inside day setup. I mean, these double inside day setups are something I really love to get into these breakouts, because when you get the double inside day, like sometimes the breakout is just so powerful, and it can really get you into a really good move. Just sometimes price breaks out of these things, just absolutely launches. But luckily I did knock off my buy stop order there, because when I seen there was a double inside day, I wouldn't have got triggered into this anyway, because I try not to trade any breakouts that occur in the Asia session unless I'm damn sure that it's going to follow through. It's one of my rules. I try to stick with breakouts that only occur basically during like the money sessions, like when the market moves into London or even New York. Now we've got a bit of a treat because it's Thursday here, and NFP's been moved forward one day because it's July 4th tomorrow, Independence Day in the US. So they've moved it forward to today. So we've got the NFP volatility coming up in 10 minutes. So I've left my sell stop thing there, and as I showed you in the previous video, the EA is controlling this. So once this triggers, it's going to set my trade up for me. I'm hoping if we get a breakout this way after the NFP, I'm hoping that it's going to see some good follow through through the session. Now, that's not all I've got to show you. I actually took a trade on the Australian dollar yen pair on the 4-hour chart, and this is another reason why I removed my buy stop order as well, because I don't want to be trading against myself. Okay, so I'll show you the 4-hour setup I took here. So basically I've got this setup here, which is the breakout trap and reverse setup. I usually use these on the daily chart, but I thought it would be I took a stab at this one on the 4-hour chart, mainly because of the location of where it formed. And I mean, this 4-hour candle looked pretty badass as well, so I went short there. And how I structured the trade was basically you see this breakout from the previous candle highs, and then it failed quite dramatically and then continued to fail and break out of the lows of the previous candle. And that's basically the basis of the breakout trap and reverse trade. And if I show you the daily chart here, you'll see the level here. This is very significant. So we've had this market consolidate above this support level, so we can see this support level has acted like a containment line, so to speak, and price hasn't been able to break through there, and we've just had a really crappy market here. Like this has been basically untradeable. This is like a just a bunch of whitewash here, but the event when price broke down Okay, that was the breakout, and then so we've come down, and that was over the weekend when we got this massive gap. So we gapped down, and we've come back up and retested that old level, that old support level. So old support now being tested and confirmed as new resistance. Now, when you sometimes when you get good 4-hour signals, they will most of the time follow through and manifest as a signal on the daily chart. So this is something we've been talking about in the war room today, and I think a lot of war room traders have jumped on top of this as well. So we've got a large bearish rejection candle that formed here, and it's starting to take off now as we're moving into NFP. The volatility is starting to pick up. It's quite strange today because usually with that NFP, the market sort of stagnates before the release comes out. But I don't know. There seems to be a lot of action and price movement, coming out to the NFP release tonight. So that's quite interesting. A lot of traders ask, about news and trading NFP and when you shouldn't and should trade it. Well, basically, I don't really follow the news, and if I see good, setup from my system on the chart, and I think it's good, and I think I'm going to see good price follow through, then I'm just going to take it. I'm not going to worry about an NFP. Sure, I'm not going to enter NFP like minutes before the release because things could get pretty crazy here. But I entered this the day before, and price has sort of like moved on a bit, and looking pretty bearish and looking good. So I'm quite confident to hold this trade through the NFP. And plus, NFP is going to do two things. It's going to screw you. Okay, the volatility is going to work against you, and in this case, it might shoot up and take my stop out, or if I see it shooting up, harshly, I may have a chance to just take out close to break even or maybe a small loss. But it's much better to just I personally I think I'll just hold on, because sometimes you do see a move up and down, or maybe a bit of craziness, and then the trade will follow through into the hours after NFP. So it's either going to screw you, or the numbers are going to come out and support your trade, and the volatility is going to be with you. And generally, I find, especially when you get signals on the daily chart before the NFP release, it's a good indicator of where the market's going to sort of. It's like, almost like the market has a crystal ball, and it knows where NFP is going to take them. What's going to happen with NFP, and the price is going to follow through there. But all I really care about is I just sort of block that out and just look at the price action itself and read the price action and follow it, trade what I see on the chart, and sort of like don't let that confusion or the intimidation of the news come into my trading and sort of like throw me off balance and get me all confused and emotional and worked up. So I'm going to hopefully see NFP, fingers crossed, so the volatility support this trade here. And I've got the early bird signal there from that 4-hour setup within there, so that was lucky to catch. And that's why with the pound yen setup as well, I removed my buy stop, because if I was buying the pound yen and selling the Aussie yen, I'm sort of trading against myself with the yen. So I'm either really want to be, and because these pairs are going to be correlated from the yen aspect, I really want to be either bearish or bullish on the yen. So hopefully we get a bullish yen, which will drive these markets down. So we're starting to see a bit of action now. We've only got, I may just keep the video on. You just have to bear with me for another minute, and we'll see what happens here. I might just pause actually, and we'll come back in a second. Okay guys, so the data's just come out now, and it looks like we got a slightly worse expected figure for the non-farm payroll. Employment rate is 1% better, 0.1% better, sorry, and a couple of other red numbers on some of the sort of like medium news, not the hot stuff. I don't normally sit here and look at this NFP stuff, but basically just for the video, just to let you guys know what's happened. And I haven't really got too much of a reaction here with the NFP on the pound yen, so no trade's been triggered yet. Let's see how the Aussie yen's doing. Pretty unresponsive, to be honest. Looks like this NFP may be a dud. Yeah, it's obviously we can see a bit of vibration there. Um, Usually there's quite a violent reaction at the right at the launch there of NFP, but nothing's going on now. Well, that was disappointing. What's going on with the Euro US dollar? Yeah, bit of bullish response there. The pound, nothing. Aussie dollar. Aussie dollar's testing a support level, so very strong support level there. So was wondering if NFP had the volatility behind it to actually break through that support level. Who knows? In the hours to follow, there may be some more aggressive moves, but yeah, really sorry to disappoint you, folks, because I was hoping to see a violent breakout. Damn. Alright, well, I'll pause the video there again, and I'll check back in a few hours, and hopefully something exciting's happened. Hey traders, how you doing? Just wanted to get back to this video and do a bit of an update. We can see here that the Australian dollar yen pair worked out very nicely, and surprisingly on the Friday there, which was the 4th of July holiday, had some surprisingly aggressive volatility to the downside. A lot of weakness in the Australian dollar there, and that pushed this one down very well. I've still got the trade open. I've held it over the weekend. Now over this weekend we've got some issues in Europe with Greece having a referendum, and depending on what's going to happen there, this market could gap either up or down. I've left the trade open on the premise that my gap, that my trade is in enough profit where I think I could survive a massive gap up, and a massive gap down would put me into very nice profit. And if it does gap down aggressively, I'm going to take profit on the gap. Now, there's 2 minutes until market open, so I've just put the video on record here, and I was hoping to film this live. So when the market opens, hopefully we'll see either a big gap up or gap down, and I'll kind of make my decision there. Now another trade, I might as well close that, that I was talking about was the pound yen. Now this was my initial trade idea, and I didn't end up taking the breakout on this one just because it came too late into the week, and I didn't want to position myself into a trade with this news coming up. It's like pretty severe news. I mean, the brokers were sending out warnings about potential gaps. So although this trade idea has worked out nicely as anticipated, and it kind of sucks that I couldn't have gotten into this, but I didn't want to be too exposed for this potential nasty gap over the weekend. So this trade has triggered nicely. We can see this inside candle group has finally been broken, and we got that close down there and below this level as well. So this looks like it's going to transition into a bearish market at this stage, and it's not really too late. I'm going to be looking for more short opportunities. Price may retrace up here and retest that level, in which case I'll hopefully be able to get in there. Now it's just hit 7 a.m. here, which is the New York close time for Sydney, Australia at the moment, with our current daylight savings configuration. So the market should kick in pretty soon. But with this one, it's very it looks very bearish now, and I'm just basically going to be waiting for the next sell signal. Maybe I'll look at the 4-hour charts just to try and find a more aggressive entry, and hopefully we do get that retrace. But it all depends on how this market gaps, because if there's a massive gap down, well, it's going to really throw this trade out, and it'd probably be a bit too late to consider getting in. So I'll flick back over to my Australian dollar yen trade, and I'll just pause the video, and we'll just wait for the market to kick in. Okay guys, the market has just opened and it's gapped down, and I'm going to go ahead and close the trade, and that's it. I'm done. So as anticipated, the market did gap down, and my logic there was when the market opened on Monday, which was, we can see that on the chart here, we got that massive gap there. We can see the yen was very bullish, so I expected the yen to be very bullish again on the back of more bad news. So that's it, trade over. Very nice trade, almost got down to here to my target, but I'd rather just take profit here, and probably missing out on one risk reward there. I'd say this is about a 1 to 9 return, and I'm very happy with that. So now I'm just gonna wait for the next short signal here on the pound. Oh, look at this, the pound yen. Yeah, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to get in here. This is probably just going to destabilize this whole setup, but damn. Now I wish I got into this one, but better to be safe than sorry, hey? So let's just wrap it up there. I hope you enjoyed the video. See you in the next one.